Oxide Liberty.
Oh, she does. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop that on her one time. Let her freestyle to it.
She will.
All right. What's up, everybody? It's your man, Governor Wildstar, with an exclusive chat with my man right here, Brother TJ, who is in the building to chat with me about a topic here in California that is relative to all of the residents and is a current news headline right now and a hot button issue, which is the recall of Gavin Newsom. You see the recall? Yeah. Trying to get his ass out of office. Right. But yeah, anyways, there's lots of speculation as to the type of people that are behind the recall, you know, and current news headlines that have came out have compared the people behind the recall attempt likened to those that were involved in the extremist coup, the
Capitol?
Yeah, the Capitol attack. So let me see if I can share my screen. My bad. So let me show you guys this. I don't know where you are in the world watching, but if you are in California, you probably have heard news that the people involved in the recall again are right-wing extremists and white supremacists and Proud Boys and all types of everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the real thing is it's about we the people. You know, it's all types of people. And even though you may have those involved with those types of opinions, they're not the majority. You know what I mean? And with this article, the Democrats liken Newsom recall effort to a legal option in California to extremist coup, as you guys can see. This came out a few weeks ago, and then more recently, recall Gavin Newsom movement includes Proud Boys members and a man who called BLM Black KKK. So I got Brother TJ here, my favorite white black supremacist, I like to call him. Because he knows a lot of things about us melanated people that, you know, isn't spoken about in the mainstream media, etc., but definitely need to be facts and truths that come to light. So I wanted to talk to you about this, what they're talking about, especially because, you know, you do support the recall, right?
I brought a bunch of radio-controlled trucks and kids and megaphones out try and attract attention to a recall event with you. So I think you definitely already know that. But yeah, I support the recall.
All right. Yeah, I know that. You know, tell them that.
Right. Yes, I most definitely support the recall. I'm not a fan of political dictators who use their pen to overstep legislation. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of our governor, not a fan of most of our politicians. I don't care what side they own.
I'm with you on that. I don't care, red or blue. They don't give a damn about you, you know.
That's exactly correct.
The most recent representatives of these two flawed parties have definitely shown that. And here in the state of California, since we have a Democratic controlled majority by way of the governor and the executive office and the legislative branch and you know, legislators and the judicial branch, etc., majority Democrats, you know. So with Newsom in office and him imposing these dictatorial rules upon us, like you said, you came out there to make noise about this recall. Why do you think more people should also, I guess, get involved as well? Why? What should motivate them? I know they all probably have their own reasons, but what are some of those reasons that you think should motivate them the most?
I think something that should motivate all of us, in red, blue, I don't really care, is the fact that politics has become a career. It wasn't designed or meant to be a career. And it is like Las Vegas, man. If they can get elected, they're going to financially benefit. And they're not going to really make moves for us. So I am pro the idea of us really pushing the idea of recalls in all kinds of ways to help our politicians realize that the pitchfork class is fed up.
Right. Oh, that's a good way to put it.
It is what it is.
Pitchfork class.
Yeah,
straight up.
It is. It is what it is. It's a poor person's problem, and the politicians don't aim to fix it because they want to empower themselves through it. If they actually make moves to try and fix it, they decrease our need for them. And yeah, I'm not a fan. It's a problem that it's been going on longer than any one of us been old enough to even pay any attention to.
I know, sadly.
Yeah.
That's actually what we were talking about before we went live and shit, is about how these groups and organizations and politicians, these, people that take on these certain roles, the reason why they continue to allow these problems to exist and it's because it validates their role, and their need. If you eradicate that issue, now they are out of job, you know what I'm saying? And what they're really out of is they're out of a lot of money, because the majority of them are, of course, are bankrolling each other to keep each other in power, like, unfortunately, I hate to say it, the Black Lives Matter organization. If they really wanted to attack, abuse of authority by police officers, especially here in the state of California, they definitely would be supportive of the recall, you would think, publicly.
And anti-qualified immunity, like if we could get rid of qualified immunity, if we could make them carry insurance policies so that when they do things, it ends up on their record so that people would choose not to cover them and then not be able to be employed in that capacity anymore. Right. It might actually make them choose to only exercise violence when they know they were right.
Mm-hmm. That part. I mean, and what all of what you just said are very good reasons why you would think BLM, the organization, because the protesters, people involved, the demonstrators, they're completely different than the organization.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
You guys
got those involved protesters, but not organizations.
Same here. You guys got to realize it's a chain of command here, and us people on street level, we really don't fuck with the people at the top of that ladder,
Amen.
But they, again, do a lot of collecting of funds and donations from people all over the world. When George Floyd was killed last summer, you had them rake in millions of dollars from celebrities and, different companies. I believe like Disneyland donated like $9 million or something like that. I don't know, AOL or somebody, but yeah. It's got to stop because that money isn't trickling down, number one. And number two, the issues are still remaining. So if we want to address the issue and do something about the issue, then we got to remove those people from positions of power that are not utilizing their authority to do something about it. And immediately, there's still been police shootings here in the state of California and beatings, etc. It's just continuous. So when does it come to an end? You know what I mean? Speaking of bringing it to an end, do you think, Brother TJ, that an end is in sight for the Democratic Party? And I would say here in the state of California, since they have a stronghold, or the two-party system in general, since we now have a president that is not as liked and continuing the same policies as Donald Trump, another disliked president. So it's more dislike, easier to stomach, but people are still pissed about it. He's still keeping kids in cages. He's deporting more African immigrants right now than anything. He hasn't done anything to help those people that have lost jobs by sending out, the stimulus aid or whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of dragging feet happening on the federal government and the state government. And right now, we just got to call a spade, you guys. It's ran by Democrats. So do you think an end isn't near for the Democrats and or the two-party system in general?
I would hope so. I believe that anybody who spends time investigating the issues and forgets about personality and looks at like the actual issues, and will find that more of us are on the same page than they would ever like us to believe.
Right.
And that this system and the way that it's set up is for economics of control of us as they bat the ball back and forth, driving the boat the same direction with a little bit of veer here and there, but not a whole lot. Surely not substantial things that help us check this system that's been on a crazy runaway since 71 as far as the dollar goes. If we
getting off the gold standard.
Yeah, absolutely. If you were to look at a timeline of poor people and rich people coming up economically pre-1971, both were on like a slight upward tangent, and the rich was getting a little bit further away from the poor, but it was slow.
Yeah.
And then in 71, and it's interesting timing that they did it, because you had a whole generation of 20-somethings who grew up on Malcolm and Martin. You had the women's suffrage movement. You had humans pushing for democracy and showing up and showing out. Right. And so what they did is kick their legs out from underneath of them, depeg that dollar, and caused runaway inflation that so many people that live in it today don't even recognize it. They're like looking for runaway inflation, not realizing like that they live in runaway inflation and have lived in runaway inflation their whole life. It's sort of like the asking a fish about water problem, right? He's like, what's water? Like
exactly.
They're in it. And this past year, we've close to doubled the amount of dollars in circulation. So what did we do? We made it where it's going to take twice as many dollars to buy the same bag of goods on a global scale, and we continue down that line. And it's pretty sad how when
Carlos,
in the 70s we had these groups of people protesting for rights for human, and when they depegged it, the chart just really flipped. Like if you look at it on a timeline, it just started going up like crazy for those who already had capital.
Yeah.
Okay, for those who already had capital in a nation where we made it where only a certain type of people, like we're an oligarchical republic. I don't care whether or not you agree or this, that, or the other. It's the truth.
What now?
Oligarchical republic. An oligarchy is a government that is designed to serve a few. A republic is a government designed to let representatives of the people govern the people. We've never been a democracy. We were founded as a democracy. Right. Our founding fathers warned us against the ails of democracy.
Exactly.
And the idea
the second part is supposed to work. It doesn't because of the oligarchical part.
Right. So the oligarchy is that it was written for white land owning males. Okay, so they designed it where the only people that could vote were a specific narrow class. So enter the oligarchy part. And they made them the representatives of the republic. And for many, many years, they gave away federal land to them, making more and more and more of them landowners and therefore representatives of the system. And in today's modern age, where we can look back at what's really happened and decide, and like the most powerful generation ever with these things, you have the ability to learn about whatever you want to learn about. And we don't, as poor humans, get together and hold their feet to the fire and tell them, hey, you guys have the most land still. Start releasing some.
Right.
Start releasing some. Start releasing some to ADOS people, like American descendants of slaves. You want to have conciliation in this nation? Whatever. It's true. You want to have conciliation in this nation? You want us to be on the same team? Start giving away some land.
Right.
No, it's got only people.
Talk about that 40 acres of the mule.
The only people it's gonna hurt is people that got capital early in the game. Right. That's the only people. They worried about their property values going down, this, that, or the other. You want to restore hope to this place? You want to make America great? You want to make this place successful? Give people hope.
Yeah, and Biden definitely could do that right now.
He could do it. Trump could have done it. Any of them that really wanted to do it would
of course
find that the lion's share of the humans want to make ways to heal this nation. I don't care if you're red, if you're blue, if you're green.
Did you guys just hear
that the lion's share of the humans that I know
humans,
this way.
Not black people, not white people, not Spanish people, not brown people, not right. LGBTQ Amen. People. He said the key word, humans. Okay. The majority of humans feel this way. We don't want there to be pain and suffering. We don't want there to be oppression. We don't want there to be poverty. We don't want there to be an oligarchy,
Amen.
We don't want to live under tyrannical control and authoritarians, such as this guy right here. We would like to live free. And a lot of people don't have that concept in mind still as to what that means, unfortunately, because we still have this enslaved person mentality. If you tell a person that they're free but they can't leave the country, are they really free? No. You know what I'm saying? You living at the behest and the permission and privilege of whoever is providing you with that, permission. Kill a real nigga up in the house says, oh yeah, much love, y'all. Much love to you, brother, man. Appreciate you being here, as well as Carlos and all of you people out there watching and aren't talking. Please definitely feel free to, drop a comment or question in that chat box if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you are. Just be sure to jump in this conversation because we want to know what you think about, again, this growing concern about a one-party system now. It's becoming more apparent than everything. We have a one-party government that is autocracy, pretty much, and a whole bunch of autocrats promoting that system at every level, and right now, that's what we're attempting to do here in the state of California is get rid of our local autocrat so we can start the chain of events that will hopefully clean up the swamp of corruption here in California. But we first got to get rid of the man in charge. You know what I'm saying? The head of the state, Governor Gavin Newsom. So it starts first with you guys, all of you out there watching, to please head on over to recallgavin2020.com. Let me burn that up if I could. recallgavin2020.com. Here's the website. If you haven't seen it yet, please head on over recallgavin2020.com. I got word that we passed 1.4 million signatures that's needed. We actually passed 1.5. So
we have enough.
We have enough to qualify for the recall. So right now we still want to collect as many as we can to get as many signatures as possible to make sure that we can shatter that threshold and have all that we need to qualify, okay? Because they're going to send the signatures to Sacramento, and I'm pretty sure they're going to throw out a couple of thousand, 100,000, or whatever the case it may be. But we want to get as many valid signatures as possible, so continue to collect them wherever you are. Head on over to recallgavin2020.com. Of course, you got to be in California, so if anyone is watching that is not in the state, you can definitely get involved by making sure you donate. I think they got enough money. You know what I'm saying? I heard they got paid petitioners in LA and they got donors giving them $500,000. And at this point,
don't donate to them. Donate to Nick.
All right. I like
we need a different kind of person in there. We need a different kind of person in there A lot of folks on the religious church side are running this dude Major, who is like the best person to pull votes away from you, unfortunately.
Right.
And he's going to toe their line and spit their narrative. If you don't believe that, go listen to his rap prior to running and listen to him now, and you can figure it out. He won't toe their line.
You listen to his music, actually? The rapper, Major?
Yeah, look, man,
Major Williams?
That guy, no offense to him, I have nothing against him, and I understand that he's running and trying and so on and so forth. But like, I don't see him as somebody slugging for the people, recognizing the problems on both sides of the aisle. You know, it's I can talk very critically about blue politics, red politics, yellow politics, sorry, and green politics.
Yeah.
And if you can't like really like be honestly critical of it, I don't trust you. I can't trust you. If you're going to just adopt a party line narrative and go with that, then I can't trust you to act in my best interest, because I know that party isn't.
Wow. So that's very poignant for you to say, because TJ here, brother TJ, is just your, I would say, above average voter here in the state of California, because he actually does his homework on the candidates and who's running, and he makes a opinionated, choice himself based on those facts or whatever the case may be. So I'm guessing that you did some homework on this brother, Major Williams, another candidate that's running as a Republican here in California for governor, and came to the conclusion that basically he's, what would you say, not worth the vote?
I'm gonna say that he has adopted poster boy positions of the traditional religious red voters perspective, and is taking on that mantle to win. I don't think that that's actually like, if we got him drunk and we're hanging out together, I think we could hear things that don't agree with his dog and pony show push of what it is. And he's like down in Beverly Hills, he's surrounded by rich people with money that are adopting that narrative that they want is going to help him garner finances. And that's why I said, instead of donate to recall, donate to Nick, because it's going to be a much better usage of your dollar to affect positive change if we can get somebody who is actually a free thinker into there, versus just do you want to keep going with the red agenda or the blue agenda, right, or it's keeping this shit going. That doesn't work. That's exactly what they want us to do. That's right. Exactly what they hope for, is to be able to keep us divided, batting back and forth. And it's kind of always been kind of one party-esque, because the overarching policy in the world has been pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. When there's the people that I have liked politically, they're very few and far between. And you said doing your homework. Yeah, I definitely do my homework. I don't believe that I like Rep Republic better than democracy. Sorry, I do, because
of course, as we should.
It's a idea that you're not entitled to your opinion unless it's an informed opinion. If it's not an informed opinion, you should just say, "Oh," and stay out of it.
Exactly.
And if you
definitely don't vote.
Yeah, right. And if you don't want to get informed, okay, that's cool.
Right.
Like, don't go trying to shove things one way or the other without doing some diligence to actually have an informed perspective. So I'm a fan of Rep Republic. I'm not a fan of our oligarchy. But I'm very much a fan of Rep Republic. If everybody gets a vote, then whoever holds the levers of media programs the outcome.
Well, people don't really understand what a democracy really means. They don't know the textbook definition of what it means, as well as the philosophy behind it. So what that basically means is majority rule. If everybody say we want to take away your house, then you have to give up your house, because the majority has ruled. And since you live in a democracy, the majority wins every time. We definitely don't want that, because they can always use that as a way to infringe on our freedoms and liberties, you know? And if we want to have any opportunity to fight against that and thwart that in any way, then we got to have a legal system that supports that. And that's exactly what the establishment of us being a constitutional republic does, you know, by making sure that we have the Bill of Rights. They make sure that we have the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, all of these legal documents to protect you as an individual from the government and them using majority rule to impose something upon you that you don't want, like what's happening now in the state of California and other states due to this whole coronavirus issue. So it's sad that, you know, these politicians and the mainstream media machine kind of uses people's emotions against them.
Amen.
And
that's exactly correct.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to so many voters, trust me, face to face, and I kid you not, the majority of them have this knee-jerk reaction when it comes to voting. Oh, I saw that person's name, or I saw that person's commercial, or that person's billboard. That's really all it is. Very few are like TJ here, where they are actually, you know, well informed, look into these candidates' backgrounds or propositions or whatever the case may be, and know about what they're going to be stamping their name of approval on. You know, that's essentially what you're doing when you vote. You know, you can choose to remain silent, you know, by being a silent citizen and not exercising your right to vote. But if you want to definitely use that strength that you have as a body, as a democratic body, you know, to rally behind that change, that choice, and then use the legal system to, again, make those changes, you have to vote. So you can't say that you don't want to be involved, or, you know, you don't support politics or whatever the case may be. Unless you like my man here. Please. Candidates such as myself would greatly appreciate it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if more people actually did find out who I was about me before, Newsom wouldn't be in office right now. Hello, Lady Wildstar. Thank you for being here, as well as jumping in on the chat. She says hello to you, TJ.
Hey, what's up, Lady Wildstar? Yeah, well, I mean, me doing homework on candidates in the Fresno mayoral race is how we met. Like, exactly. That's how we met. Yeah. Like, I wanted,
and he actually called me.
Yeah, you know? yeah. I called him. I'm like, why should I support you? Right. Where do you stand? And I wanted to like poke fingers at him and ask tough questions to hear him respond.
We had a decent conversation. And I'm on the phone like, why is this guy like asking me 21 questions? You know what I'm saying?
And then he invited me over to his house, and we took it further. And anyway, yeah, he's a well-informed and has foundation for his views, and isn't just taking a partisan policy line. He's not just adopting Team Blue or Team Red or Team Yellow or this, that, or the other. More Team Yellow than anything, because he's very much into the liberty thing. And
oh yeah.
So am I, but I don't like nuclear proliferation. So I'm not a big Team Yellow guy. So you know, it is what it is. I can critically talk about issues with all of them, but we agree on more than we disagree on. But unfortunately, they use emotions to divide us, and if you don't recognize that, that's pretty sad. And And if you don't think what happened at the Capitol was emotional, you're crazy.
Exactly.
And if you say that the only people getting led by emotions are blue voters or green voters, nah, you totally miss
that
it.
is
Totally missing.
I guess after January 6th, you definitely cannot say that anymore, you know?
If you don't recognize that there's a mental health divide that is a real problem, that's because you're on one side of it.
Exactly. You're right about that. Thank you so much, Carlos. Carlos is a high schooler who is actually 18 now and has pledged to vote for me in his first time voting in the gubernatorial election. So he's saying right now that he introduced me in this current project and let his government teacher know about me and other people as well as a candidate. So thank you for spreading the word, because that's what it's going to take is, you know, people like you getting the word out there about me, people like my man TJ helping spreading the word to say, hey, we actually have a candidate that's running that represents us, what we truly want as a community, and what can unify us with regards to what we want from leadership. You know, we got to stop the divisiveness, you know, and unfortunately the political rhetoric behind it all and these issues that don't have anything to do with politics. Straight up. It's sad that when people ask me about abortion and shit, and I say, you know, I believe you got the right to choose what you want to do with your own body, isn't a good enough answer, you know? Well, no, actually, I'm like, okay, well, what about smoking weed? You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, that's fine. Okay, what about drinking alcohol, you know? Or other people that do other hard, you know, drugs. Should they be told that they shouldn't be able to do with their body? What about sex workers? Should they be told what they should and shouldn't do with their bodies? You know what I mean? Tattoos and piercings and shit. You have other cities and counties that ban drinks and beverages because they have too much sugar content. Come on now, you know what I'm saying? Do you really live in a free country? Or do you live in that mob rule type of society, you know, that Brother TJ is talking about, where they're using the so-called rule of law to impose on you their prejudices?
Amen. Because that's real talk. And, you know, Exodus chapter 30 lists cannabis as an ingredient in biblical anointing oil. Okay, so in the Bible, the directions for making an anointing oil that were sent to the perfumer included cannabis as an ingredient. It's sweet calamus, which is a Chinese cinnamon, olive oil, myrrh, and cannabis. Okay, so those are ingredients to anointing oil. Yet in this nation, quote unquote Christian nation, William Randolph Hearst, DuPont, and Rockefeller got together as a big old team, one wanting to protect his forest lumber investment from hemp being used as paper. The other one wanting to protect his rug and tapestry and rope making using oil as the ingredient from hemp. They worked together and ran an advertising campaign to divide us over an issue that most agrarian poor people existed off of. Like, this was a side crop of all of the poor people that they made things out of. But these crony capitalist white oligarchical rulers decided to run smear campaigns in the newspapers, and Mr. Hearst had his hands big in that, to demonize people who look like you when you used marijuana, saying that you ran around violent, raping and killing white women, and that we needed to do something about it. So much so that the first movie ever shown in the White House was Birth of a Nation. Now there's a new Birth of a Nation that's much better. I recommend you watch that.
Show that in the White House.
Right? Yeah, which color? But like it was designed to divide intentionally, and yet every wisdom literature on the planet rails against the overconsumption of alcohol. Okay, so alcohol short circuits your judgment system, takes your prefrontal cortex out of the equation, and you will act more animalistically. Marijuana does the exact opposite. You're going to question the decision before you make it more. So one makes you less likely to be a dick, and the other one greatly increases
Right.
your chances of being a dick. And we promote the heck out of one in all of our advertisement and demonize the other. And again, the one we demonize is an ingredient in the Bible and anointing. Well, you can't argue about it. It's there. It's Exodus chapter 30. Read it.
Even in, I believe in Israel, hemp and marijuana is legal.
Okay, look, they used it, they consumed it. It was very normal, very expected, and part of their everyday life. And never, ever once in the entire scriptures is it written about negatively.
Yeah.
It was common, it was normal, it was an ingredient, and never written about negatively. But these crony capitalists working together intentionally demonized and separated us along the lines of race so that they could make more money back in the 1900s, and we still suffer from it today.
So let me ask you this, and I'm about to get real deep on y'all real quick by asking you this. With us being the supposed, like you said, all right, Carlos, till next time.
Later, Carlos.
Catch the rest of this if you can later on, and share. Sharing is caring. So please definitely share this video or any others. I truly appreciate it. We're not going to talk much longer because we know a lot of you out there have short attention spans. We don't want to exploit that too much. But thank you again for being a part of this conversation. But yes, all right. So to dive a little bit deeper into what you're just saying, and then we're gonna let these people out here go. Why, with devout religious people knowing this information, why do you think they allow the zealotry to exist? Because they see it, they talk about it. I talk to people all the time. They talk about the priests and the pedophilia ring, and they talk about cannabis and personal choice, personal freedoms, whether it be marijuana or sex work, which is also in the Bible, and other things. Why do you think they still support those type of, I guess, I don't want to call them religious extremists? Is that what you want to identify them as, or what you think would? But these people that exploit their religiousness as a way to, again, impose their will on others,
Yeah. What you just said about sex workers, I don't think actually very many people that go to a church or have a religious belief and show up realize that Jesus's great however many generations it was grandma was a lady named Rahab who ran a cat house. Like, literally, that's the truth.
Oh, damn.
If you go back in his genealogy, Rahab ran a cat house, and she served the living God and helped these men escape from the city. But I think that most of it is they have poor leadership. Okay, that's like, I think what's the church has been losing ground with society because the leaders in the church don't actually like the idea of men being men. The church has been losing men for a long time, and men dive into Call of Duty and spectator sports and all of these things that help them feed this little like hill to climb, thing to tackle, ambition thing that's kind of baked into them. And today, like, they want to use government to enforce an old contract that they say that they were freed from, because New Testament, Old Testament, it's old contract, it's new contract. Okay, so we're under a new contract. An old contract was fulfilled already, but yet they team up together to try and enforce the old contract on society while ignoring the mandates of the new contract, like we were talking about before we got on screen. They quote Jesus, and they say that, it's not their problem to deal with the poor, right? They say you'll always have the poor with you, just like Jesus said, without considering the fact that the guys that Jesus was talking to were guys that had to memorize Deuteronomy, and they knew that he was referring to a verse that put the onus of fixing this on them. Okay, he was referring to a verse that told them to open their hands and their arms to the poor, to teach their people to take care of the poor, and that
practice
this was
what you
their
preach.
problem to deal with. So they don't I don't blame the average person who's sitting in those pews for their leadership not teaching them well. The fact that they show up and that they go and that they're interested and they want to pursue these things is good. And a whole lot of them might be good Samaritans in their lane. Okay, they might have this thing where they're given to these people and they're not self-centered, and they are doing some others focused things in their life, but like overarching the leadership of the like 501c3 class of churches, for the most part, are like big businesses that don't want to empower groups of men to try and come at solving our problems, because it again negates the need for them, much like the Democratic Party. Okay, they don't want you to have individual liberty, your guns and your free speech and your ability to be less regulated to go and make it as Nick, because they want a group that needs them.
Exactly.
Where the red guys is like, yep, it's an oligarchy, we're in charge, screw you, we got the head start on the Capitol, sorry about your luck. Like, so it's like it's tough, because both sides have their issues that they suck in. Like, I don't want to be treated like a baby where I need the government to give me a bottle. I also don't want to be like legislated over and regulated in a way that serves these few people with a narrow view.
Right.
I don't want to trash our planet. It's like, Team Green, unfortunately, whether or not they realize it, the big money behind Team Green has helped them play a long game that still serves oil. Like, we punish the guys over the Enron spill, and what do? We let them build a bunch of charging infrastructure and enter the big corporation charge point.
That's why I said go New Deal. Take it back. You in charge, not Enron.
Gets busted for installing an algorithm that recognizes whether or not the car is on a dyno. Right? So they put in an algorithm that if the steering wheel hasn't been moved, then the smog pump needs to be on. But if the steering wheel's being moved, then the smog pump's off and they get more horsepower. So they went out of their way to program a cheat. And as punitive, retributive measures, we let them install a bunch of charging stations that they get to take care of, and take advantage of. It's again, they play a long game that serves them.
Exactly.
And I'm an environmentalist. I'm very much pro taking care of our environment. But what the young people don't realize is they get emotionally led into a capitalist green camp that isn't truly environmental. It's sad. It's sad.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very sad. And
because
you don't,
people aren't doing their homework.
and you don't get many critical thinkers that actually like try and determine what's right. Instead, they want to get elected, so they adopt popular positions with the group that most closely identifies with them, and they run that race.
Right.
And yeah, I'm not a fan.
And they end up getting elected on that. You know what I mean?
It's been happening our whole lives.
I mean, I'm even told by advisors in my campaign to kind of play on that to some degree. And I can't.
I've advised you to play on it to some degree, to be quite frank.
There we go.
I want him elected.
But I can't help but to. I'm that person, you know, through and through, genuinely anyway. You know, it's just a matter of being able to, I guess, express that in a way to where it's attractive to voters, and it motivates them and encourages them to want to get someone like me elected. You know, I need some Bernie fever behind my campaign, or Andrew Yang gang type shit.
I like Yang.
So, you know, if I had that type of fire behind me, and I know you people out there do exist, so if you would like to find out more about my campaign and, of course, what I have to offer as a candidate for governor of California, please head on over to my website, wildstar2022.com. As you can see, it's right there at the bottom of the screen. Matter of fact, here's my website. If you guys were to check it out, you'd see this pop up on the screen, which is a pledge card, just asking you how would you like to get involved with the campaign, because I do need staffers, people like you, to help out every which way that you can. So if you do video editing, social media marketing, which is definitely needed, fundraising, all that good stuff, be sure to fill out one of these pledge cards and send that over to me ASAP. And of course, visit my website, check out my platform. All of the platform proposals I'm, you know, making and changing here are right here, just a few of them. Trust me, there's a lot more, but we'll start with this for starters. If you go to some candidates' websites, they don't even have a platform available at all. They're just asking for money. It got pictures of them, you know, some news articles and shit like that. Basically just saying donate today. Kevin Faulconer, mayor of San Diego, he don't have nothing, no platform on his website, but he's running for governor. And, you know, with all of the clout and political power he has in the state, he definitely could be elected the next governor if we, the people, don't stop it. So I'm in need of all of you out there. Like I said, grassroots activism and organizers out there, get involved with my campaign, because that's exactly what I am. And please contribute by hitting this donate button, okay? Like I said, you can check out the website, all of this good stuff here. Got more about me, campaign platform, etc. Events, media, pictures, videos, all that good stuff. And if you click that donate button, then you can make a contribution today. So I'm asking all of you out there to make whatever you can, send in whatever you can. People ask me, why do you want money? You know, they're like, oh, he's asking for money again. Lame. I'm like, trust me, I don't want to be asking you guys for anything, especially during this whole pandemic panic craziness. So I know times are hard for people out there, but whatever you can, make a contribution. It definitely helps going towards bringing back liberty to the state of California, okay? Julian Serrano says hello. He says, excited to help elect you governor. Thank you so much, Julian. I truly appreciate it, man. I need people like you behind me. So like I said earlier, please spread the word, because Facebook and Instagram does not allow political advertisements anymore. So my hands are tied. I cannot promote any videos, posts, whatever the case. Can't boost, none of that shit. So I need you people out there to share any and all of my posts, information about me with everyone that you can. If you're on YouTube, hit that bell, subscribe, help me build my audience, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Be sure to follow me and, like I said, help grow this audience so we can bring more attention to the liberty movement here in California, okay? I'm the only liberty candidate, offering to make the state of California constitutional carry only. A lot of people don't understand what that means, but constitutional carry only. only candidate offering that. All right. Well, again, I got my man, brother TJ, up in the house. Thank you so much for being here, man, and talking about all of what we chopped up, because I feel like it was a lot of information that people out there definitely need to hear. Hopefully, they'll appreciate this induction into the time capsule. So if you did get a chance to enjoy this right now, hopefully you're watching sometime in the future. Continue to spread the word, and let's bring back liberty to the state of California. All right. Till next time, you guys. I'm up out of here. Long live liberty. Peace.